sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. So, and in 2022 and 2021, part of a team that reached out directly, indirectly to over 100,000 fathers around the world. Good morning, everybody. It's the Morning Vibe. It is July 17th, halfway through July. So when I'm halfway through a month, mentally, I think the month is over. So, yeah, these days, that's the way, though, right? That's the
Absolutely.
way these days. So, good morning, Ryan Knight. What's going on?
Hey, good to see you, brother. As always, enjoying the vibe this morning. And for those that don't know who Ryan Knight is, my name, one of the co-founders of the Afro Caribbean Business Network. So we provide coaching support and business support for entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage, really to figure out what stage the business is in, and then help them create a strategy to grow their companies. I'm also an entrepreneur myself. I do run a company called Detailing Nights. So we provide mobile waterless car cleaning. So we go to your house or your office, clean your car on the spot without using water, and our plant-based, eco-friendly cleaning supplies. And you know, the rain has been trying to sprinkle in, but still great car cleaning weather. Yes.
Okay. Before I want to get to that after we do our Monday ritual. So, and the platform's a little slow these days. I've clicked onto, okay, there we go. There we have. So do note that this episode and all Monday episodes, at least for the near future and have been for a while, is sponsored by the McMillan Group, providing mortgage solutions, one client at a time since 1999, buying, refinancing, or investing. Call them at 905-813-4354, excuse me, in Canada. In the US, 904-586-5636. So as always, we appreciate the McMillan Group. We do not take it for granted. So, and bear with me, parts of this software are a little slow. I've noticed since the weekend. So if there's a little bit of delay, please forgive us. But there's the contact information for the McMillan Group, Canada, US, toll-free, North America, 866-883-0885. Website address, themcmillangroup.com, and email address, raycmcmillan@gmail.com, which is a nice thing, as we call a segue. Coming up this Friday on the Morning Vibe, we have our regular monthly visit from Ray McMillan. So he will be back this Friday. Let's get some other things housekeeping wise right out of the way. So make sure if you can to like the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. There'll be some more things coming YouTube wise. If you're commenting on YouTube, there should be some things you see in the near future. So also like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook and LinkedIn, and also wherever Ryan is, especially on LinkedIn, like, and I know he's spending time building up the Ryan O'Neill Knight YouTube channel also. So that is a good thing. And one other thing I want to just put it out there. See how this thing is slow? Join the Morning Vibe Discord group. Please email me at dr.vibe@the.drvibeshow.com. And we got more people joining the group. Now start putting content in and more people. And you know what? Why don't I just do it for good measure? To advertise your business or service on our show, please email me at dr.vibe@the.drvibeshow.com. So I've talked too much for the last few moments. You've had good weather for detailing nights this year.
Yeah, I would say on overall, some days have been quite heavy with the heat because it's like that humid heat.
Yes.
But making sure we take breaks, drink our water, no fainting spells thus far. So yes, keep it going. And many happy clients.
Yeah. Yes, I hear more and more of them. And I just want to shout out, today will be like a open house or town hall, whatever you would like us to chat about. I asked Ryan if there's some comments, some things he wants to chat about. He's got some topics, but if there's things that you'd like us to provide comments on, we'll do it. But we got family here already. So Fitness IQ, family. Morena, Ottawa. Good morning, not good morning, maybe morning, maybe, you never know. So morning from Ottawa. Look at this. Look, where Evelyn Myrie from sunny Jamaica, heat wave. Yeah, I
Okay.
heard it is really hot. I actually have some relatives that are down there. It is holy hot down there. Really, really hot.
Wow.
Moringa, Ottawa, I like you. The kind word Dove Man carries, lucky and brilliant to have them. I would say they're blessed to have me.
Yes,
And I'm
yes.
adding to brilliant. I'm adding their brilliance. Marina also says, okay, we have to wait for the delay. I kept following ACBN. Don't any follow back or
Yeah,
engagement, unfortunately. You need to address that, brother.
absolutely.
You need to
And
address that.
which platform she's on? YouTube? All right, I'm gonna go put my email into YouTube.
Okay.
Yes.
Opal inspired. My Monday morning coffee. Good morning, everyone. There you go. Oh, look who says hello. GBKM Network. Good
All
morning. Hey, I
right.
owe you
Yes,
some
yes.
pictures, Kenny. I owe you some pictures. I have not forgotten about you because I know you asked me to take some pictures, or I took some pictures during the ecosystem event. I still have them. So I have not forgot you. I'll text you today so I can get an email address from you so I can send those. And also, good morning, Vibe and Night. Hope both of you are well. Well, we hope you and your family are fine. So we've got everyone. Morning at Ottawa says thank you. So you're acting on that in real time.
Yes,
She says
yes.
thank you. Fantastic. So yeah, everyone today we're doing like an open mic for any of you who have any comments or things you'd like us to discuss. The last, as I said, the last number of conversations have been fire. Like I mean, they've been they've been
Little
wild.
time
We
to
have to
catch
come to the
up.
defense. Yeah, so there are things we need to catch up on. Plus, it's a little bit past half the year. So anything you'd like us to comment or chat
And
about,
I was
rock.
gonna say that with the month, you say when it's halfway done, you feel like the whole month is done. Is that same with the year? Now that we're past halfway point, do you feel like the year is done mentally?
I'm already beginning to focus. It's a little bit of energy into Q1 next year.
Ah, wow. Okay. Yes, yes.
But obviously, I've still got my main energy is this for this. Actually, I have a question for everybody in the audience. I love starting conversations with this. What is a win you've had lately? Doesn't matter if it's
Oh
big
man.
or small. I love to start conversations with a win because that's the positive energy. Oh, where we go, we go.
Hey, William
We
sister.
also have Keen. We have yes, and I'm actually, God willing, going to be attending. They're launching an opening of a commercial space on Little Jamaica tomorrow, so I'm going to be attending down there. I feel so bad that I haven't met their previous events. So, Kemba, the beautiful and wonderful Kemba Williams, called me last week saying, "Dr. Vibe, you always say you're going to come, but you don't." And I said, "Well, man, I don't like traveling to the Northwest Territories." So this is Little Jamaica. So I don't know what's going to be worse traffic wise, Little Jamaica or the Northwest Territories, but I'm going to. And I think they're wanting to do an Instagram live with me there. So if you follow me on IG, Instagram, you'll probably see me, or follow the Keen group, Keen on you.
Mhm.
Actually, whatever their IG is on Insta. And I'm going to, so thank you for jumping in this morning. Also,
Excellent.
let's see. Ring Ottawa says, heck no, I'm just getting into my stride gratitude. So they're not thinking about the next year. Okay.
Ah, yes,
Everyone
yes.
says Emancipation Day is August 1st. Yes, it is coming up too. That's another day that's come up.
Mhm.
Actually, yesterday on Black Canada Talking, I had Cesar Nadima Musa, who I need to get on here on a morning vibe. And we were talking about
Mhm.
the state of Pan Africanism. So that was a really
Oh,
good conversation. Yeah. So that's why you need to follow the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube. You can catch that replay of
yes.
that conversation. But Ryan, I am chatting too much. What are some of the, you wanted to chat about some things today?
There are, and it's more so thinking back on the last half year and saying like, what has been happening this year. But something came to mind just before we jump into that. And I don't know if you followed the career of Zendaya. She was in the Spider-Man Homecoming reboot,
Yes.
and
I've heard a bit about that.
I thought I feel like, has she been corrupted? Because I was watching trailers with my children, and so when I see her come on screen, I feel like she has that Disney vibe, right? So I'm like, oh, this might be an interesting movie, and it's about tennis, and then the the commentary made it feel like it was a Naomi Osaka biopic or something. I was like, oh, this would be pretty cool. And then
I
all of a
heard
sudden,
just
she's like in bed with two men, two boys. I was like, what? I'm trying to stumble over myself to change the channel. I'm like, what happened to this girl? I thought she was like staying away from that kind of overtly
drama.
sex stuff. Yeah, and I was disappointed.
I haven't heard. I just heard the name in passing. I don't pay a lot of attention to a lot of those things because I don't have time for snuff. Just not my thoughts.
Right.
Okay,
But that's
just
where
before we go further, that everyone
into that stuff. I thought she was more, family friendly.
Yeah. So everyone says been able to take my next gen to Jamaica, including my son-in-law from Niger. A win. Okay.
Oh wow.
Okay. That's big.
I love that. I love that.
No, I don't. I and we mentioned this during State of Things on Saturday night. One of the conversations I did recently, I keep on saying because there's a lot. I host a lot of these conversations. I host a conversation once a month called Black Men Talking, and it's black men from Canada, the United States, and England. And we've been doing it for a long time. And one of the recent conversations I posted it last week was, what is the state of Black culture? And I'm beginning to think more and more we need to have these conversations about the state of Black culture, because the state of our culture reflects the state of a lot of things.
Right.
But I don't know much about this artist you're talking about. I have no idea. And I'm not going to put energies into it. Unfortunately, it sounds like a very questionable portrayal of us, unfortunately, in the media.
Well, and that's why I bring it up, because she's an actor that I thought was trending away from that stereotype of like the over sexualization, and really wholesome. Her parents are really involved with her acting career, so I thought they were positioned to make sure that she didn't go into that path. And again, hey, by all means, get your money, do your thing. Women have the ability to express themselves in any way they like. She's an adult, so it's not like she's a kid anymore. But yeah, I thought her, because she's super, super accomplished, like not begging for roles in any stretch of the imagination. So I would have thought she can pick better roles than having to go down that path. But all that to say, it was on my mind as I think about how I'm raising my daughter, and looking for something wholesome for the family to watch, and then totally get derailed. It's like, is anywhere safe? YouTube can take people down nasty paths. Even kids' YouTube, people are putting unwholesome stuff hidden in kids' videos now, and like it's very difficult to police. So that kind of just came to mind.
It's, how can I put it? It's like the Wild Wild West. It's just like anything goes now. I don't know if that's obviously, and again, it all goes back to the thing of free speech. Right? Well, people can put out, and you don't have to watch it.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, some people will say, hey, people can put out whatever they want. You don't have to watch it.
But this is where I say YouTube takes you down a path, because it has that autoplay. So you'll be watching one thing, and also some of the ads are very disrespectful. To be nice.
Yeah.
So you'll be watching something that is family friendly, and all of a sudden an ad comes in, and it's like a 15-minute, 30-minute ad.
Yeah, but you can stop those.
But that's where it's like, if I'm in the kitchen and my child is just watching, and all of a sudden an inappropriate ad comes on, it's like you have to run and come intercept and change the channel or stop the ad, because things are just playing kind of in the background, right? It gets it's like you can't trust anything by itself. You have to be purposeful and be navigating and making sure that things that are playing are appropriate at all times.
Yes.
And so I bring it up too because it reminds me of like being derailed. And earlier in the year, we all saw the mayor John Tory get caught up in a scandal.
Mayor.
the Toronto mayor, and it's like something that nobody was expecting, even though, hey, that happens sometimes in politics. But we thought we had a solid one in Toronto. Gives into the pressure. It's like
Well,
no one's
we got to
safe.
realize they're all human beings, right? So let's take a look at some comments. So Moringa Ottawa goes, Zendaya is extremely successful and an inspiration to us in youth, and Black women know there are no safe spaces.
And that's where Moringa's saying that she's an inspiration, and now she's doing videos that or movies that I don't think is inspirational. Like, why are you in the bed with two men? Like, these aren't things that I want our youth to aspire to do. And I think she's above that. She's not having to beg for roles.
Is she?
Is that the beast? Is that the Hollywood beast where you have to do certain things to keep progressing? And she's now caught up.
We're going down that Hollywood
But
road
we're seeing
again.
it happen in real time. There's
Christopher
no
Lawrence
reason for her
says,
to be doing that. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No problem. Christopher Lawrence says, good morning, everyone and all. Fantastic. Let's see what else people are saying. On my end, I'm having some technical challenges. Okay. Damien F. Alexander says, morning. Good morning, Damien.
Good to see you.
Morning. Morning. Ottawa says, respectability politics and homeschooling versus contemporary educational curriculum and media is an evening conversation. Ha ha. Kate says, Zendaya's career hasn't been family friendly in years. She's been a main star in Euphoria.
Oh, that's news to me. Thank you for letting me know, because if I had seen that trailer, then I would have known if that career has kind of gone away from family friendly. I would have skipped it, because I thought it was a Naomi Osaka tennis biopic. I was like, oh, this might be very interesting, and it was not. That doesn't sound too good. Right, man.
That doesn't sound too good. So as you see, family, open topics here. What else, Ryan? What you will talk about? Who would have thought at the beginning of? Okay.
Oh, I think.
Okay, so Kate has another comment.
Yes.
Just because she's not family friendly doesn't mean she's not inspirational or successful. Ooh.
I would say it doesn't mean she's not successful. I would say it does mean she's not inspirational, because what is it that we want our children to be aspiring to do? Like, if her having threesomes is inspiring for young women, I missed the memo. That to me is not inspiring. So before, when she was doing very well in Hollywood without having to do highly sexual things, that to me is inspiring, because as a parent, as soon as, like, I fear if my children want to get into the Hollywood mix, because you've seen how it corrupts people. But then I saw her career and I was like, oh, she's doing very well without having to. And again, I don't know the whole story. Maybe there's background to that I don't know. But then if majority of our success is going to come through doing sexual things, why would we consider that to be inspirational? Maybe I'm missing something. What am I missing?
Okay. So Fitnet's going back a few minutes ago. Fitnet's IQ Cam says Euphoria was crazy though.
See, and I didn't even know about that show. So that is, I got to keep up on the Hollywood mix.
So I don't, because Moringa Ottawa says she's an adult actor. And
valid.
So that's interesting.
Yes.
Kate says she doesn't write the script. She's just in the content. And then her next comment is that is not her story. She is playing the character in the story. Okay. And then
Yeah, but you
Moringa
can't have it both ways.
Hollywood. So Moringa Hollywood says you want Hollywood to raise our kids.
But somebody just said that she was inspirational. So you can't have it both ways. Either, yeah.
So, okay, Fitness IQ Cam says the heat is coming now. I feel it. The heat's already here. Started it. David Hughes, all the way from Australia. Good evening from down under.
Yay.
Dr. Vibe and Ryan. Evelyn Myrie says, have little expectation in those in Hollywood. There are a few who are values-based, but they also suffer from less roles. Moringa Ottawa says, I like Little Mermaid, but what I get what you're saying about the message that kids are sensitive to and maybe unfair messaging. Good morning from Elemental Notes. She says, morning, gents. Good morning, Elemental Notes. She also says, I haven't heard of the movie you're speaking of yet. However, the storyline she's following could be possibly lead to something else. Without seeing the movie, we have no idea what the role is all about. Okay. So, Ryan, people seem to be coming after you these days. What's like, look, family.
And
leave
I
a
think
boy
it's
alone.
because I'm commenting on women's right to be sexual and be expose themselves and be free. But I feel like I'm coming from the perspective of, is that inspirational? Is that what we want our young girls to see? And as a man, that's not always what I want my daughter to see, because I know what that lifestyle is like, and it's not positive always. But if it is positive, and that's where I think people are giving the comments, is like, hey, listen, this is the new world. Women can express themselves in any way that they like, and I should be okay with that. I have some more unlearning to do.
Okay. Also, Kate says, I don't understand why her taking a role that expresses sexuality is a bad thing. Moringa Ottawa says, Halle Berry won an Academy Award for Best Actress, the first Black actor and woman to do so. Let's take it away because she had interracial sex. I understand that part. Fitness IQ Camp says, I understand. Yeah.
That movie was
Ryan,
not normal sex. So if that's what it takes, I am against that.
So Fitness IQ Cam says, Ryan, understand your perspective as a parent. Kate says, it's not made for kids. Repressing that is not healthy for young women. Okay. Elemental Notes. Nah, Ryan's my boy. I understand as a parent it can throw us. I'm just wondering what that role is about. I'm gonna again go back to the Dr. Vibe show. I've done many conversations. One of them is with a lady named Dr. Alicia Watkins. So if you know the name Dr. Boyce Watkins, that is his wife. She has her PhD in social work. She's done melanated couples counseling for many years. She has her certification in trauma counseling. A little while back, she did a conversation on the Dr. Vibe show, and you can go look at, about the 4 stereotypes of Black women.
Okay.
I would suggest you take a look at that, because Hollywood, and I'm just saying, people can portray whatever they want. What message is it like? What message is being portrayed, especially by melanated people, by what's coming out of Hollywood? Right?
Yes. And that's the question.
I just leave it there.
And
okay,
valid
so Ryan,
somebody saying Hollywood shouldn't be raising our kids. I agree. But sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Ray said, okay, Elemental Notes. Okay, we'll say Macmillan Group. No, okay, Elemental. Okay, no, it's I'm giving our producer a hard time. Hold on. Ray says, no, it's not the new world, Ryan, and we don't have anything to unlearn. As fathers, it is our role to raise our daughters in a certain way. I support your position. Elemental Notes says, sometimes these roles open up to a show that trauma that someone has experienced. Okay. Fitness IQ Camp says, I remember you mentioning that, Dr. Vibe.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, but I'm giving our producer a hard time. Sorry. Please apologize. But yeah, but I would say whoever you are, you should watch that conversation by Dr. Alicia Watkins. It
Mhm.
was you'll watch it afterwards. Thank you, Fitness IQ Cam. But it was like when she started getting to it, I said, Dr. Alicia, you should take this out on tour and charge people to hear this presentation.
Yes.
Right?
Mm.
Damien F. Alexander says the thing is how these kids are now. They do these things. I think they my thought is they do these things because they see these things. Um oh, hot topic. We're gonna make a pivot. We're gonna make a pivot. Share Knight is coming with heat. Share Knight is coming with heat. Okay. Morning, gentlemen. What are your thoughts on how our brothers and sisters who are refugees are being treated in Canada compared to other refugees? It's disheartening to me, but not surprising. Well, parking lot that for a second. I just want to go back to Kate's
Absolutely.
comment.
Mm.
As a parent, you have the choice to decide what your children watch, but saying she's not inspirational to a young adult woman doesn't make any sense to me.
So this is my
Any
question.
comments, Ryan?
If what she's doing in I feel like there's two versions of Zendaya, I
Lanes.
guess, in my mind. Yeah. So there was her in Spider-Man and some other romantic flick where she didn't have to over sexualize herself in order to be like mega super successful. Like she came out the gates flying. Then now there's the, I guess, older adult Zendaya that people are saying is highly sexualized. And so you wonder, like, you have to choose what is inspirational. Like, what's the definition of inspiration? Is anything she does because she's successful an inspiration to young women? Or should we be focused on if she's doing positive things, that's inspirational. If she's doing negative things, that should be a deterrent. But it sounds like we're using even, and maybe I'm classifying the sexual part of it as negative, and that's incorrect. But her having a threesome with two white gentlemen, to me, is not wholesome sexual exposure. I 100% agree it does happen, but is that what we encourage our children to do in the future? I would say no. So if that's what she's putting on screen, that's not inspirational.
And I think also too, though, adding to this, at the end of the day, the final decision on what it, now I'm making an assumption here, but I have a feeling that the final decision of what gets out on screen is not made by a person who looks like us.
And that's where I feel like she's been corrupted, because she was able to do it without being overly sexualized. And now I'm learning that the last couple years has been overly sexualized. So what happened? Why did it have to go down that road where she was very successful without doing that? If she's choosing these roles and saying like, hey, I want to just express myself and this is how I am, by all means do. But then this is where, as a parent, I get confused, because I see her in one light and I think, oh, this is wholesome for my 10-year-old daughter when she's been in Spider-Man type movies. But then the movie is about something that's not appropriate for 10-year-olds. And now I have to kind of extra off the list.
But some people say, who are you to decide what's appropriate for all 10-year-olds? You can only do for your kids. That's another thing too now
at
these
minimum,
days.
Until they're 18, I deem myself responsible for the intake of my children.
Well, your children, adult, yes. Yeah, I hear you.
She can watch all the Zendaya she likes.
Okay, so Kate says she's not sleeping in the sheets. She's playing a character who does a sexual act in a movie. But the message.
We can't dismiss what is being portrayed on screen becomes narrative. Like when Dr. Alicia is talking, Watkins is talking about the stereotypes. How do those stereotypes get enforced? It's by media, music, images, and movies. Those three ways is where you influence how people think about themselves. So if we see that on screen, that's what we're going to think of ourselves, and it becomes the stereotype.
Elemental Note says it's very hard to raise children these days. They have a global invoice via the internet versus the way we were younger and didn't have to walk with cell phones. It's great that you were present to see it. Okay, next up, Ray says two of Hollywood's biggest names, Angela and Denzel, have never had to sexualize themselves and have had long careers. What has changed?
Well, one of the examples they used was Halle Berry, and she's had a long career, but the only way that she got the Academy Award was through a very highly sexualized role that she played. And then you ask, like, is that what it takes? Even Denzel, I mean, he had to go into a very like a violent role in order to get recognized and win his Academy Award, even though we know the brother can act and doesn't need to be a crazy killing cop, but that portrayal is what got him noticed by the Academy. Is that okay for us? Like, is that the stereotype that we want to be telling our children? Is like, hey, super success or winning an award comes with you taking on certain roles.
Karen Rose says good morning. Good morning, Karen.
Good day, Karen.
Also, Kate says she doesn't always get the luxury of choosing her roles. She has a team and sometimes has to take specific roles. It's not always her decision. I would say I would disagree with that. You always have the final decision.
I would hope so.
If
maybe when she was a kid, but like everyone's saying, she's an adult now.
But even still, at the end of the day, it's your decision what you want to do, yes or no.
Yeah,
at the final decision.
That's even worse. Like, if you're telling me that she's in Hollywood and doesn't have control of what
her
she
narrative.
that is a problem. Like, and that's where I was saying, like, has she been corrupted by Hollywood? Because if she's not in control of her decisions anymore, she can get put. So I watched the Black Mirror episode that Roger Dundas was talking about. Joan is awful.
Yeah,
that is exactly what we're talking about. Selma Hayek signs a contract that says anything and everything beyond defecation on screen can now be used with your likeness. So Zendaya, by signing her contract, is she's saying anything that you tell me that I have to do a movie about, I will do it because I signed this contract. That is not true strength or being in control of your own destiny. That is just being a puppet.
Okay, so before we go any further, we'll just, as always, if you like what you're hearing, make sure you like the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button so you get notified of great conversations like this. Also, like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook and on LinkedIn, and also like Ryan's platform, especially YouTube and LinkedIn. He's Ryan Knight on there. Also,
the new Coming Threads platform. We are going to be jumping onto it.
Oh boy. And also join the Morning Vibe Discord group at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Send me an email. We'll get you involved in the group and we can continue these conversations on a regular basis when we're not online. So let's come back to the comments. So more comments are coming. There's some okay. Okay. Let's go back. Damien says, great interview. Great Dr. Vibes. Well, it's myself and Ryan. It's not just me, and it's everybody else. It's a
I think he's talking about one with Dr. Boyce. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Great conversation with Dr. Boyce. I haven't had one yet, but on Friday, I'm going to share something about. I'm just going to leave. I was going to do it today. Didn't get time to do it. We'll just leave it be. Macmillan Group says she has the luxury of saying no. She does.
That's what I would assume. Is
yes,
she has the final say. She'll see the script and she can say, you know what, I'm in or I'm out. And if she says she's in, then she's good with it. If she says that she's, whatever happens on that screen that she read about, I wouldn't say she's being forced to do it.
Okay. Karen Rose says, amen. You are responsible for your children until they're an adult. And Kate says, and maybe you have noticed, not always. Her management decides the rules for her sometimes.
I would say the manager presents it. The manager says this has become available, and hey, by all means, there might be pressure, and there might be, listen, if you want to keep progressing in your career, or this is all that's available to you right now, this is something that you should take. I can see that pressure, but if it's something that's against her values, she can definitely say no. Like, I wouldn't, unless Dave Chappelle talked about the pressure in Hollywood, and it's very difficult to say no. But there is that, he showed the proof that there you can say no still, no matter what they put in front of you. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Karen Rose says it's not hard to raise your children, but you have to decide to create an environment for your children outside of Hollywood media. Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Very true.
Fitness IQ Cam says, I always says this. It seems that folks forget how we saw inappropriate things when they were younger. She also says, yes, the internet is wild. Of course, it's a wild, like Kumo D, Wild Wild West.
Yes.
Morning Ottawa says, that's the new slavery mindset, but it's so easy to judge, and she can turn it down. But non-famous, ambitious people use life hacks all the time to get ahead. Don't hate the player for playing their game. I wouldn't say I hate the player. I feel sorry for the player that has to play that
for
game.
me, it's hey, she can do any movie that she likes, but then now as a parent, I know that the things that she's doing isn't good for children. And that's where I was confused, because before, the only movies I saw her in were okay for children. Well, I mean, Spider-Man still has a couple bad words in it, but overall, at least on the sexual side, it wasn't overly sexual. And she can, hey, have a boyfriend, be engaged with another man, and not have to have threesomes and stuff. So now when I see her in a movie, and this is what I was explaining, I saw her on the screen, I was like, oh, this might be an interesting movie because it's about tennis and whoever, but it turned out it wasn't. So now when I see her, I'm going to know, okay, I'll have my defense up for what she's about to do on screen, because I didn't know that was in her repertoire. But now people are telling us about Euphoria that I totally missed. So I should have known and seen this coming.
Okay, we'll just spend a few more minutes on this, and we'll talk about the refugee situation in Toronto. Fitness IQ says, "Woo, threads," but she says, "I don't." But she then, but she says, "I don't want to join."
You should do the challenge together, Camille. Join me.
Morning Ottawa says, "Just like we can all choose poverty or integrity,
you'll choose poverty." I don't think people choose poverty. If people are put in bad situations, poverty can happen, and it's our choice to stay there. I do think that we can definitely work our way out, but environment and circumstances do cause poverty. So I wouldn't say that we all choose poverty.
Okay, Yul Anderson says, also in Black Mirror, you saw how they can manipulate your likeness without you using the metaverse to replace you.
And we sign off on it. That's what I'm saying. If Zendaya signed off that whatever's put in front of her, she will act out. That's the same thing as Salma Hayek in that episode, signing off that they could use her likeness and they can do whatever they want with it. And then it was against her values, like, because something happened where it was against her values, and she's like, this is not what I expected, but you signed up for this. So is that where we're going, where anything that's put in front of us, we don't have the ability to say no anymore? And I can see that. I don't feel people want to be in that position, because when it happens to you, we're gonna feel it, and it's something that's coming. That those Black Mirror episodes, the robot dogs have been launched. They're in New York, so the eyes that can see, or the injections that can create holograms, has been presented and shown. So we're slowly going that way. I mean, I don't think the apocalypse is gonna come down on us because we don't kill 3 people, but who knows? I know some Black Mirror things are more in tune with where the world is going than others.
Okay, so Moringa Ottawa says, now we nitpicking the poor lady, just like Kiki Palmer, Meg Thee Stallion, Nicki, Beyonce.
So, and this is the question from our previous conversations, is how they're portraying themselves like, is that where what we aspire our children to do? And if it's the answer is yes, I will step back and you do what you like with your children. Those types of overly sexual exploits isn't something that I find inspirational for my child.
Portrayals.
Right. So, and by all means, everyone has the right to choose what they're comfortable with. So when Jazz becomes 18 and she's like, this is where I'm going, it won't be because I told her that is acceptable. What Kiki Palmer was wearing out that night, what exposing yourself on stage, I saw all that when I was in high school, and with Freaknik happening and different concerts that are very, very overly sexualized. That is not a pleasant place for women to be, but now it's become commonplace, and I don't agree with it. Like, I don't think that is inspirational. It can definitely be your choice, but I don't see that as an inspirational path to live where you're overly sexualized.
Okay. Welcome from the DMV. Divine Right says, good morning from the DMV. Divine Right, good to have you here. Karen Rose says, Hollywood banks on a person selling themselves out to at a certain point. Our community is constantly being subjected to hypersexualization. This is the plan, normalizing adverse behavior. David Hughes says, if we are born poor, that is not our mistake. If we die poor, though, that may be our mistake. I like that thought.
Yeah, right.
Okay, Divine Right says, I'm not joining Threads until they allow people to delete their account without affecting your Instagram. If you delete your Threads account now for some reason, your Instagram goes bye-bye.
Yeah, why would they do that? That just makes no sense.
Because they can. Right?
It's such a deterrent, though. Like, they're in position to take over Twitter, and then they throw in something like that where people are like, "That, nah, I'm not about."
Yeah, but
that.
you got to realize that they want to keep the numbers good and high because advertising revenue, eyeballs. Come on, it's a business thing.
Yeah.
Right. And also Fitness. Morning Ottawa says, Battle of Black-owned social media fan base versus the spill.
Oh, I haven't seen either of those. I didn't hear about fan base. I heard about spill though.
Fitness IQ talking about the poverty says that's debatable with financial trauma. The poverty mindset continues. Karen says Megan Thee Stallion is not a role model for impressionable young girls. Come on. I always say,
not from my mouth. That is how I feel too.
I always say, what I always like to say when that person's name is mentioned, what's the definition of a stallion? Okay, fitness IQ goes, take it this way though, Ryan. Imagine having a child where your body is going through things and you're able to snap back.
I would love more context, Fitness IQ, because 100% my daughter's body going through things is different than my son's body going through things. And I am in not a strong position to understand what she's going through. But I also am in a strong position to understand how men think as women portray themselves in a certain way. And if you're okay with that, then by all means, you can go down that road of over-sexualization. But if you're not okay with that, then you can't portray yourself in a certain way. And that's where like Megan Thee Stallion and whoever is on stage making a living by trying to get attention through their bodies only, that by all, you can be successful that way. That isn't in debate, but is that inspirational? I don't think it is, unless that's what you want. I can't choose what the person wants, but
yeah. All right. we're gonna jump off that topic for now. It seems that it's an ongoing conversation, and I'm gonna see if I can get some people on. Maybe I can get Dr. Alicia on from a morning vibe to talk about this, because that would be great to have. So a little while back, Share Knight had a comment. Someone that Ryan knows really well, Share Knight, said, "Morning, gentlemen. What are your thoughts on how our brothers and sisters who are refugees are being treated in Canada compared to other refugees? It's disheartening to me, but it's not surprising." So both Ryan and I live in the Greater Toronto area, and it's become, especially since we got a new mayor, homelessness has become a huge issue. And actually, it's a huge issue in many North American cities. The amount of homelessness is growing rapidly. We can only speak from our Toronto, and lots, like hundreds of people are being turned away. Interesting enough, I had a conversation yesterday afternoon with a City of Toronto aid worker who's been in that role for many years. And she said to me, Dr. Vibe, they're still giving preference over refugees from the Ukraine more than anybody else.
And we've definitely seen the difference in treatment, because these videos that we're seeing of the current people living on the street, I don't see a lot of people from Ukraine in these videos. So refugees are coming from different countries and definitely being treated differently. But we should be embarrassed. Like, the way that it has now gotten out of control, this needs to be something that all levels of government identifies and starts to rectify. The way that we're seeing, like, federal kind of, I haven't heard much coming out of the mouth of the prime minister, except we've already put hundreds of millions into supporting refugees. But he's talking about across the board. And even still, if you've put hundreds of millions and this is the result, this is not a good result. Like, we need to do more, unless they're okay with it. And the way that they come across, and Doug Ford does the same thing where he talks about healthcare. He's like, oh, we put so much dollars into healthcare, but healthcare is still struggling. So it's not where we want it to be. We need to do more. You can't just say we did something and then we see the results and be happy with the result. I don't know how. And it's difficult for Toronto, because Toronto now, when people are coming together on a specific corner, they don't have the resources to deal with it. That's why it has to kind of go up the chain. So Toronto's really stuck. They're already in a deficit coming out of the pandemic, and they're trying. Now we have a new mayor that's trying to get her footing, Olivia Chow. It's very difficult to take this on and be able to execute, because there's very limited housing. There's no resources in the social sector. And what I'm hearing as well is a lot of the African-focused or Caribbean-focused organizations that used to support these types of immigrants and refugees got defunded, or a big reduction in their funding. So even us as a community, the way that we used to handle this, because it was funded from a certain source, and now that got cut, we can't even support our refugees, that are our brothers and sisters that are coming in. It's a crazy domino effect, man. And then that's why if it goes up to the province and they're not paying attention, and it goes up to the federal and they're not paying attention, to me, that shows that they're okay with how those people on the street right now are being treated. And we should not be okay with that, and definitely should make our voices heard to them.
Okay, catching up. And also, people comment, in your city where you're living, is there a homeless challenge? Is there? Because I know in many cities in North America there is. Good morning, Charmaine Hassi. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good to see you. Also, Divine Right says, here in the DC area, one of the largest homeless shelters is blocks from the Capitol. All right. The Macmillan Group says, it is because the Euro refugees, like the Syrian refugees, may foster a positive financial economic impact on the economy, unlike refugees like from African nations who are perceived to be poor. All right. And just we're jumping on a little bit. We're here just on a little bit on Instagram Lives. Good morning Illirat 49, and also Realtor for Truth. We're just broadcasting a little of this. We're talking about homeless issue, challenges in Toronto or whatever city you are, especially in North America. There is a growing homeless problem. And one of the main reasons why the economy is haves and have nots, is just the gap is widening. Also,
yes.
Go ahead. No, go ahead,
Well,
Brian.
I was just thinking of here in Ajax, the downtown, there's a certain number of homeless people. And then you wonder, is the city okay? Because clearly they're not doing anything proactive to alleviate it. So if they just kind of step back and are okay with how it is, and then we just came back from Windsor, and Windsor used to have a water park that got shut down and turned into a homeless shelter. And then, so I think during the pandemic was where it happened, and now it's kind of just stayed. And you wonder, is the city okay with this? So a lot of times, the way that our city gets to a certain point where it seems like it stops trying, and it just says, oh, we can manage this, or we can tolerate this. This actually is a better word.
Okay.
And that to me is what becomes a thing, because that need additional help. Yet as a community or as a region or a city, we're at a point where we can tolerate certain people being disadvantaged and not have to call it a crisis or really expedite support for them.
All right. So let's go back. Lots of comments firing in here. Cher says Toronto is supposed to be a sanctuary city. One man has been on the street, quote, in the rain, unquote, since he arrived. Shake my head. Some members of the community opened their homes to take some folks in. Interesting. I was no, that's I won't say that. Divine Right says huge homelessness issue in the DMV. Ken Rose says we have to really take a look at our immigration policy department on the country of origin. Karen Rose says this problem was created, the destruction of the middle class. Yep. Ray McMillan brings up a really interesting point, and this is for our American viewers. In the U.S., 40% of the homeless population are ex-military veterans.
Really?
That in itself is quite sad and tragic. Right?
Wow. I wouldn't think it's that high, 40%.
Yes. David Hughes, the number of homeless people on our streets is rising. This is in Australia. Interestingly, the rise has been explained at times because of domestic violence and housing shortage of stock, which is another interesting thing. I watched, someone sent me, and one of the few times I do look at a video on TikTok, please, people, don't send me TikTok videos that don't apply to me. Please. They jam up my phone storage. But there was a video of a gentleman saying this year in Canada, maybe this is right, they're predicting 200,000 new homes to be built.
Okay.
But the government is letting in 400,000 people in the country each year.
It's going backwards like that. It won't keep up.
It's so wow. It's on the if the things continue the way they are going from where I sit, it's only going to get worse. And I know from many Simone Cordes, good morning, Simone. How are you on Instagram? Yeah, this homelessness problem, and it gets to a point where people just say, as long as it's not in my backyard, I don't care.
But this is the not the spillover, but this is like the breaking point that critics of Trudeau had talked about, and critics of Tory as well, with Toronto becoming a sanctuary city, is that eventually you get to a point where you can't manage the amount of people coming in. And by all means, Canada, we're great for providing an option for people that are going through distress in their home countries. But at a certain point now, do they come here and they're being treated worse? And I'm not saying that homeless people on the street is worse than like a war happening in your country, but they didn't come here expecting this. And so that expectation, we have to live up to how we're treating these people. Otherwise, we're just as bad an option, and we shouldn't be. Like, we opened our doors because we're supposed to be a better option. We should start acting like it.
Good point. Good point. Good point. The and Yule Anderson, I did receive your email, so I will be responding to it. Yeah, this homeless issue is becoming. Yule Anderson goes, looks like there'll be whole cities made up of homeless. Those cities that are failing, where the government provides security so they can't get out. Interesting comment.
Whoa, that's a shit.
Very
That sounds
interesting.
like a Black Mirror episode.
Macmillan Group, correct. Domestic violence and parental abuse also plays a huge role in the rise of homelessness. I have stopped and spoken to a few of these homeless folks on occasion. Divine Right says within my city, they are bulldozing public housing, low-income housing, and building $900,000 houses.
Wow.
With expensive condos.
Right.
Okay. Yule Anderson says, see this link in Canada. So I can't open it up from where I am, but Yule, can you just basically give us, email it to me or tell us what that link is all about? Because I can't really do with anything with it here. I think. No, I can't. But this homeless problem and it's one of those things that's staying under the rug. And there's a combination of congestion and how to handle or loosen up the congestion. Chair Knight says a man at a press conference had a sign that said, quote, racism, unquote. Yes, they need to call a spade, call out our government officials. So Cher seems to be very passionate about this issue. Divine Right says apartment complexes here in the DMV are quick to not work with families on paying rent and rather send them to court and start court proceedings versus working on outpayment plans. It's a shame.
Okay, right.
So yeah, that's oh boy. We have of course two light topics: the portrayal of Black women in the media, and also the whole rental crisis, homelessness crisis, and also Ryan, that was one of the things you shared too. Interest rates went up again in Canada.
And so that pressure is building, and what I'm hearing is they are far from done. So, and I think we're at about 5.0 as the baseline interest rate. So typically on top of that, banks put their prime, even ACBN, we have a microloan, so it's prime plus 1.25. And so now people that got our loan, it's been edging up. So they went from paying around 3, just under 4% to now over 6%. And a lot of times, if our businesses are kind of going week to week and struggling, it becomes difficult for people to keep up. So it hits home when you see the Bank of Canada making these decisions. And a lot of people that were encouraged to get variable rates early because that was the bread and butter are really going to feel the pinch if this keeps on trending this way.
I'm going to just ask a question of the family here, whether you're watching live or replay. Do you pay attention if you're in Canada, the Bank of Canada, what they do with the interest rates, or in America, the Fed, or in Australia? Do you? Because people need to realize that has an impact on so many things.
Right. Yes.
Like, I just out of curiosity, do you all pay attention to that stuff? Unless you're financially free, which I don't think most of the people on this conversation are.
Yeah,
I'd just be very curious to know, because the rates they've come down, but they're still inching up.
Mm-hmm.
And especially, Ryan, you deal with a lot of businesses. The squeeze is serious.
And one thing that I've noticed is a lot of times businesses in our community, when we own homes, they use refinancing their home as a way to keep afloat and invest into their business sometimes. So, but now because lending has really tightened up, that option isn't as smooth as it used to be, where a person can say, once I refinance my house, I'll figure out how to, get those back payments done. But now those refinancing conversations are actually being declined. So when that happens, now that causes a worse domino effect of not being able to pay first their own living, and I've heard a couple of people losing their house because they couldn't refinance it, and they just want to oh my gosh, the lender just wants to resell it to get take advantage of the high market. And then also their business suffers because they were counting on a refinancing to be able to pay off back rent, or so doors getting locked at the business and losing homes. It's a rough time right now.
Okay, just want to catch up on conversation here. Tim Frey, sorry, Tim, it took a little bit of time. Good morning.
Hey, good to see
David
you, Tim.
Hughes says, Margaret Thatcher, some of you are too young to know that name, sold off all the rented houses in the UK. Investors bought them because many of the renters couldn't, so homelessness was further exacerbated.
Wow.
So if you don't know who that name is, she was, I believe, the first lady prime minister of England.
Yes, so they might not know her by Maggie Thatcher, but Margaret Thatcher.
Yes, Maggie Thatcher.
Is it?
Well, no, it's all right.
Okay.
I'll say Divine Right says, gotta head off to an appointment. Everyone have an amazing day. Great conversation today. Ray comes in. Please note that the rate change impacts adjustable rate mortgages or folks with variable rate loans. 70% of the mortgages are fixed rate, are as most auto and personal loans. So this is why we have a Ray McMillan in the audience. He can give clarity. And he said, I believe Ray, you're just talking about Canada, but you may apply it. You may want to chime in the US if you know. Damon F. Alexander says, I think most people know about it, but everyone feels helpless about the mortgage rate put out by the Fed in the US or the Bank of Canada. He also says, when I speak with clients, they feel helpless. Question here from Cher. I know maybe Ray will talk about it now or even later on in the week. What do we say here? How do you think these rates, how long do you think these rate hikes may continue for? I know you don't have a crystal ball, as they say, just curious. Karen says, I have really started paying attention to the bank rate. Good. Mr. McMillan says, I watch Bloomberg every... okay, hold on here. Fitness IQ Cam says, spoke about credit counseling this week. She did on her Saturday conversation talk about that, so go follow her. Before that, oh my gosh, there's so many comments here. Let me just, okay. Karen says yes. Okay. Ray says, sorry, Cher, I couldn't answer that question in allowable 200 characters here. That's why you can come on Friday. So Friday, Ray, if you can chat about that amongst other things. Yule Anderson says, most people will never own a home or enough money or credit to qualify to have one. David Hughes says, I watch Bloomberg every night. I follow the financial news. The Fed, the RBA, and other central banks use a national inflation rate number. The problem is the CPI, Consumer Price Index, and wages are not following each other. Exactly.
Okay.
Yes, the CPI, Consumer Price. Hey, Mummy Mission from Australia. So we have two Australians on here. We have one from on Instagram Live, and we have one on YouTube. Greetings, Mummy Mission.
One show we're gonna have somebody from each continent on watching.
That'd be nice. That would be nice. Yule Anderson, long comment here. I guess you can comment longer on LinkedIn. The gap between the wealthiest and the least wealthy households in Canada remains large, despite a recent decrease. By the end, I guess it's from this article he shared, by the end of 2021, the top 20% of households held more than 2/3, 67.13% of all net worth in Canada. The bottom 40% accounted for only 2.83%.
Oh, wow.
Is that poverty especially affects people living alone, including 30% of the working age singles? I guess his points. The average annual household income for low income single parents with one child is now 44.1% below the low income of after tax poverty.
Whoa. The
bottom
40%.
Also
2%.
Let me just check.
That's
wild.
I
just got to look at something. Okay, no problem. Let me go back. This is a great conversation, fam. This is when we love you. Just drive in the car. Ray says borrowers in the US aren't impacted as much since mortgages are usually 15, 25, or 30 years. The impact is not the same as in Canada.
Okay.
David says from Australia, the banks will always make money because of the spread. No matter the official interest rate, the banks will always get their 3 to 5%. People got to realize banks are in business to make money first, not help you. They're there to make money and help their shareholders first, not you.
But that's where I struggle to understand when they use hiking the interest rate and say that is to combat inflation. It's like how it all connects and correlates. And actually, if I can park that question and save it for Friday when Ray comes on, because how it all interweaves is where the confusion comes.
It's crazy. And good morning, Money Mum Mission, Carabana 416. We didn't even get to Ameribana today. We have to get to Ameribana eventually. Jason Wallace, EDC. We're just talking about finances, mortgage rates, etc. on the Morning Vibe. If you want to catch the whole conversation, go to the Dr. Vibe show on YouTube. You can catch it live right now or on the replay. Perry Douglas. Hey, hail up, Perry Douglas. The only thing served by hiking interest rates so dramatically from the 22-year low interest rate environment is making the most economically vulnerable people in Canada feel significant pain. Ooh.
We're seeing it.
Well, yeah, and see, this is the thing. And this is how, again, unfortunately, we're in extreme capitalism, right? Because look at it this way. The banks want hike up the interest rate, so the economy has to suffer. And one of the ways that the economic people say the economy, or bank people say economy moves forward, people have to lose their jobs. So we got to lose our jobs to help things move forward. But the thing is, the people that are losing their jobs are the people who can least afford to lose their jobs.
Right. That is, you see, if that's how the macroeconomics works, it's above my pay grade. So
right, Fitness IQ. So Fitness IQ can say, can we discuss the rent-to-own programs too? So Ray, that's another Ray. I think you get a long list for Friday, but I need to get a subject from you, at least a core subject, or a Q&A, or something, because I want to promote it. My social media person is waiting on a subject from you so we can get it out to you. Ray also says those who are most impacted aren't homeowners with mortgages, but those with consumer debt. That is what is killing many people. And the thing is, again, maybe Ray can he's talked about it before, but not all debt is bad debt. It's how you manage your debt.
Right, because he did specifically say consumer debt. So only using credit cards to buy stuff and not paying it off, that we're getting into sticky territory.
Fitness IQ Camp says, I've been see so much and not sure if I should. I don't understand what you're talking about there. That does not make good English. Please clean that up. Perry Douglas. There is no evidence to show that aggressive interest rate hikes are slowing down the economy, but the central bankers continue to inflict pain. It's also another one of these things. Again, some of you are too young to remember this, but many years ago in America, there was a president named Ronald Reagan. Some people said it was Reagan, but some people said Raygun, but that's all of the conversation. Good morning, Mr. Gospel Cafe. We're talking about economics all over the place, mortgages. But the thing is, there's something called trickle-down economics. Anyone remember that term? Trickle-down economics, which basically says give advantages to the rich tax money-wise, and it will filter down to the poor. Nonsense. Rich people keep their money, keep it to themselves. It doesn't trickle down to the masses.
It seems to get hidden overseas.
Exactly. It doesn't just because. Here's a perfect example with the stats that was given out earlier. Just because rich people are getting better doesn't mean the rest of the country is getting better. The rich are getting better, right? Right. So, okay. No problem, Fitness IQ Cam. Bahaha, OMG. Sorry, my keyboard. Read before you press post.
It's okay.
David Hughes. The rich get richer and poor expected to get the picture. Keynesian and trickle down economics is a broken model. Big business creates inflation, not consumers. VAT, value added tax, and GST was sold as a luxury tax. Neil Erskine, Ray has a topic for Ray. Topic for Friday: future financial survivor, your next 5 years. I don't know if Ray wants to tackle that or Wayne Harris. Actually, Wayne Harris was supposed to tackle something like that last time he was on, right. But it went crazy. Blessings to you also, yes. Mr. Gospel Cafe. Fitness IQ Cam says, I've been seeing types of programs rent to own 0% down, and I'm not sure if I should promote it. Ray, that's a question for you for Friday. Because I do not have enough. That's above my pay grade. I wouldn't even go there because it's not my expertise. Karen Rowe, this conversation's on fire today. We're just reading comments. Poor folks have a spending mentality. Middle class use debt, credit cards, line of credit to get rich. Rich and wealthy buy assets that generate positive cash flow. Rich and wealthy buy assets and they hold on to them.
Yes, yes.
And not only that, rich and wealthy buy low and hold on to it. They don't buy low and sell high. They buy low and hold on to it. Perfect example. About a year ago, believe it or not, family, Facebook stock was taking a plunge.
Okay.
Right? If people would have bought Facebook stock a year or so ago, and now how it's I'm gonna say conservatively, Facebook stock this year has gone up minimum at least, I'm gonna say mini 50%. Right. Okay. Share Knight says the rich travel. Okay, the quote: the rich travel down to the bottom of the ocean while others have no food to eat or shelter. Oh, you were talking about Titanic expedition. Oh, Cher's passionate on this one. I like this. Also, the Macmillan Group. In my opinion, the rates there are now much. In my opinion, the rates where they are now much benefit us. What is perhaps the challenge is that we remained in a low interest rate environment for way too long, accumulating debt at almost 0%. I think that's a good observation. People went overboard when it was 0%, thinking it was always going to be like that, and reality hit. Well, the pandemic and reality hit.
And that's one thing they talked about, the sharp increase in interest rate, because if it was gradual and as a market we can we can get adjusted and we can go with the market increase. But when it's a sharp increase, that's where, like Perry Douglas is saying, we feel very intense pain and we're not able to get used to it. Yeah, it's going to cause a lot of issues.
Greetings, Joey Soundquest, from one of the great DJ crews of all time in Toronto, Soundquest. And Mr. Gospel Cafe is still on. Fantastic. Ray also says here, certainly didn't help most households nor the economy with the 0% interest rates. Fitness IQ Cam is saying, I'm trying to show people stop thinking short term with stocks. Okay, yeah, it's a long-term gain. It's a long-term game. She also says, Ryan, not sure if you saw the whole session on Thursday when we spoke at Money Goals.
Oh no, I missed the second half. But yeah, that was a good topic.
Well, Fitness IQ is a big celebrity now, so she doesn't have time for us these days. David Hughes says, the best quote I learned this week is from Abraham Verghese. Quote, powerful people cannot hold themselves to account because those who know the truth are afraid to say anything to them. Ooh, boy. I like that. I like that quote.
And that is valid because who's gonna be the one, right?
Oh,
that is valid.
Well, there's a gentleman who I follow. I was listening to him this week, and he was talking about melanated people who are regarded as public figures. And he said a lot of these public figures who are melanated are more like puppet figures.
Yeah, we see it. We only can go by your actions.
Wow. Fitness IQ liked that call. She goes, ha ha.
Yep.
You know what's beautiful? It's doing the morning vibe, and you don't have to worry about people giving their takes.
Hey, I love it.
You know, this is beautiful. That's like, because the things that Ryan talked about, we didn't even get close to getting to them.
Hey, we touched on a couple, and it's all it takes. I
A
love
little bit, but the best thing about it is they're evergreen topics.
it. Oh, true, true.
Okay, here's an interesting statement. Karen Rowe
Mm.
says we are not ready for a real discussion on money and how it really works. Woo! Fitness IQ Cam, would you agree with that? Ray, would you agree with that? Macmillan Group says the increases should have started in 2017 when we had a real estate downward price adjustment. The adjustment was almost 30% in several markets.
Okay. And so then the gradual increase in rates could have happened so we can get acclimated to it instead of just boom. Now we're it too soon, too fast. And doesn't seem like it's stopping.
Fitness IQ Cam says, I'm here every Monday and Friday. I'm always here. She is.
That's
she
true.
is.
Yes.
That's true.
And sometimes Thursdays with ACBN.
She's such a personality. She makes time for us. I feel so honored. The Macmillan Group says, I have personally been waiting for the increases since 2017. We can discuss my reasons offline. We shall discuss those reasons offline. Fitness IQ Cam says, agree with Ray. Or about I think she's saying agree that we're not ready for a real discussion on money and how it really works. Well, we have it here. And I know there's a lot of big places I know other people go to with big American followings that they talk about that. Karen Rowe goes, boom, the Macmillan Group. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. David's dropping some good quotes. Come on back. David Abraham Verghese also said, quote, rich people don't go to church because they are Christian. It's because they are flawed and because they pray to God to help them or send someone else who can.
Yes.
Good stuff. This is good stuff this morning. All right. We're going to shut it down on Instagram. If you want to catch the full conversation, go to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube. Subscribe, notify. As always, remember to give yourself grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Take care. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
All right. Look at man, this is going on. Fitness IQ goes, you should feel honored. LOL. Well,
yes, thank you.
You know you're part of that 3-letter organization. Andy Taylor. Yes. Love this. Understanding financial leverage is key. It is a strategy large firms use to increase their potential return on investments. Same approach can be used by individuals. Perfect example, and I bring this up periodically. Elon Musk bought Twitter. He owns Twitter. Did Elon, with all the companies that Elon Musk has, do you think the majority of the money he bought to buy Twitter was his own? No.
Right. No. Leverage other people's money.
Exactly. Fitness IQ goes, discuss on Discord. Okay, well, you're going to start the conversation on our Discord group. Macmillan Group goes, agreed, Andy Taylor. And also Fitness IQ Cam says, yes, Andy. All right. So I'm encouraging all you people today, if you haven't, I'm making a call to action. You know what my call to action is? Email me so you can join the Discord group because you have wonderful thoughts and comments that we can keep on a continual basis. We just don't want to have them on Monday and Friday. There's enough stuff going on during the week. Bring up various things. As I said, I have another Discord group for State of Things with Aisha, Jill, and Lala. People are putting stuff on like on the hour, different things there. Why don't we have our own place where we can, and you won't get banned unless I ban you.
Yes.
You know, where we can go to these things, but a lot of great things shared today. I mean, wow. Ryan, any final thoughts?
No, just enjoyed the conversation. Hey, I'm gonna be able to get again. I was trying to fix my Discord account. My daughter made one for me, and I need to get my name changed. So I'm gonna be in there, and we can definitely continue these conversations.
Absolutely.
And really want to touch base with other organizations, especially in the entrepreneurship ecosystem, about what can be done to support those that are refugees here and on the streets. Yeah, we just can't be okay with how this is playing out.
It's not good. Okay, Karen goes, David goes, Karen goes, okay, sorry, the awesome show tonight, David. Thank you for always taking the time from being in Australia. You're probably a number of hours ahead or behind. Yeah. Karen Rowe, Discord. Yes, Karen, I will put it up again.
Yes.
We have a private chat group. It's sort of like Facebook, but it's less regulated, so to speak. But we only like good people in there. But the Discord group. So if you email me at this address, dr.vibe at the drvibe show.com, I'll send you a link. You can come and start putting stuff in there, whatever. I'm the group monitor. So if you behave yourselves, because if you don't, I'll take you out. Not Mark Zuckerberg. I'll take you out. Right? Or you won't get taken out on like on Instagram and all those things. We have good people in there. So see the address on the screen, email me, and we'll make you part of it and start the conversation. We've got okay. Andy Taylor says Fitness IQ Cam, thumbs up. Share Knight says CP24 is covering the story again in Canada right now. All right.
Gotcha.
Fantastic. So who is going to join the Discord group? I want to see right now. I'm going to give you a minute or two. Who is going to join the Discord group? I'm going to hold you to that. I want at least one person
right now.
Yeah. Who is? Well, they have to send me an email, and then I'm speaking. There'll be at least 2 more people in the Discord group between now and Friday, minimum. Okay, David. All right, David Hughes. I am. Okay. David Hughes from Australia.
Thank you.
And I know David's a person of his word. David is a person of his word. So that is happening. Yul Anderson, thank you for liking the conversation on Facebook. Appreciate that. Spread out the news. Start spreading the news. Interesting enough, you know the Frank Sinatra song, New York, New York? I actually heard this morning on NPR, they were playing an AI version of that, but his voice.
Oh, boy. Man, AI cannot be stopped.
No. So I know, Ryan, you usually have a 10:30, so we're gonna get out. So thank you everyone for sharing with us today, as usual. Hayton Morgan says, I'll join. I've tried before without success. Email me, Hayton, and you'll get the link. It should be pretty easy after that. Also, you have if you have any difficulties joining me on top of when I send you the link, please tell me. But this conversation can be replicated offline. So please, I'd like to have some people joining. So what's up for the rest of the week, Ryan?
Yeah, this week is going to be preparing for a lot of financial support programs because a lot of people apply for our loan. And this was an idea that Ray McMillan had given us to get them into a room with some financial experts, understand what documents they need. So we're going to be doing that next week. So this week is preparing for that. Yeah. Excellent.
All right. Let's see. One more comment we have here. Hold on. Yul says, what about the episode on Blackmail where the 2 brothers are playing a video game? We're not going to start that right now at the end. Come back to
this. Scarred me for life, man. That episode.
All right. See, I don't, and people say, how come you don't watch shows like this? Because I'm making my own content.
Yes.
Right. Once in a while, I may even get a chance, but I'm making my own content and I'm helping people around the world. I'm not, so that's just me. All right. So let's finish it up. Again, please like the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Also like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook and LinkedIn. Also, wherever Ryan's promoting himself, do that also. Sorry to be a tired world, but join the Discord group. Not going to say all the details. It's on your screen. If you want to advertise your business or service on the show, like the McMillan Group has been doing, I think for over a year now, on Mondays, Fridays are open. Fridays are open. Speaking of Ray McMillan and the McMillan Group, he's going to be back this Friday. If you want to get in touch with me, website, the DRVIBESHOW, DR period. Well, there's the email address, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show, Twitter at DRVIBESHOW, Instagram at the DRVIBESHOW. You notice there's no threads there yet.
Yeah. I'm going to be joining threads. I'm going to try and
for
post
you.
at least daily to whoever's with me. Camille, let's jump in.
Well, I'm debating, but I'm being mentored on a strategy on going on threads. So I'm being mentored on that. So we'll just keep that quiet. The Dr. Vibe, you can watch replays of this on the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and Facebook, Afro-Caribbean Business Network on Facebook and YouTube, Ryan O'Neill Night, YouTube, and LinkedIn. I think we got everything done today and then some.
Love it.
I think we got, okay, 2 last comments. Yule Anderson, ha, that was amazing. I guess that episode. And then Fitness IQ Cam, oh, that Black Mirror.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So as always, thank you, family. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller, get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. And then also say, don't just manage your time, manage your energy, and remember to give yourself grace. Huge thanks for Caitlin for putting up with us, especially me today on the production, because we were all like, this was to help produce this was jambalaya. Yes. Oh, and there's one last comment. Fitness IQ goes, Ryan, why are you calling me out? She says. And then also Fitness IQ Cams, I've decided which of my IG. I don't know what that is.
True. To connect
which one of my IGs.
Deleted.
And Kate Wu, thank you, Kate. Join the Discord group. Thank you for your positive contributions. And thanks to everyone. And usually I have a time to say hello to you in the chat. It was too much today. And I'm glad I had a producer, because if I had to do all that, no, it was just too much. But we appreciate you live on the replay. So we'll see you on Friday with Ray McMillan. And again, in the Discord group, if you have questions about mortgages, real estate, interest rates, all that, put them in the chat so we can bring them on for Ray on Friday. God bless. Peace well. Keep the faith. Walk good. Bye.
Thank you.